I had a pretty good childhood growing up. Might almost say that it was idyllic. But I grew up in the 50s when everything was idyllic. And even though I have wonderful memories of childhood, there was one thing that I never liked very much. When my parents would try and tell me what to do. Clean your room. Do your homework. Don't leave your bike in the driveway. Stop hitting your brother. Never quite. Someone else heard that too growing up. Never quite liked being told what to do. And even as we reach adulthood, I think there's still that little part of us that just doesn't want anyone else to try and tell us what to do. And then we have Jesus. What was our gospel reading about this evening? This long list. Jesus telling us what to do. Love your enemies. Go 2 miles instead of 1. Don't turn your back on your neighbors. Pray for your persecutors. On and on and on. Jesus is always telling us what to do. And maybe there's a little bit inside of us that says, I just don't like anybody telling me what to do. St. Paul, in our second reading to the Corinthians, warns them against trusting mere human wisdom. Because St. Paul's onto something here. If I believe that I can reach truth, ultimate truth, on my own, then I don't need God or God's revelation. And the Corinthians, back then, they prided themselves on being so educated and masters of philosophy and logic. Who was going to try and tell the Corinthians what to do or what to believe? St. Paul says, don't go there. Do not walk down the path of mere human wisdom. You will be deceiving yourselves. True wisdom comes from God's revelation, what Jesus is trying to tell us. I read an interesting little article in the newspaper just the other day. There's a nun in Italy celebrating her 107th birthday. She's believed to be the oldest living nun in the world. Her name is Sister Candida Bellotti. And because this was such a big event, she got to go to the Vatican. Pope Francis celebrated Mass for her. And as always happens, the reporters gathered around afterwards. And they tend to ask the same question when they're interviewing someone who's had a long life. What is the secret? Tell us the secret to a long and happy life. Now, they might have been expecting to hear, don't drink, don't smoke, get exercise, rest, eat healthy foods, that kind of stuff. But you know what 107-year-old Sister Candida Bellotti told the world last Thursday? If you want a long and healthy life, without batting an eye, she said, do the will of God. That's what she said. 107 years old. Do the will of God. So even though we don't like being told what to do, and that nasty little inner child gets in the way, put him to bed. Get lost, inner child. I'm grown up now, and I do want to listen to what Jesus has to say. It's okay if the Lord tells me what to do. He has earned that right because he died for our salvation. Yeah, Jesus has the right to tell us what to do. We might not always like it, but if we want to live a long and happy life, like Sister Candida, there's probably no better advice. Do the will of God.